Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to our brothers who are firmly pushing the word in sincerity and in faith. And Shalom to the sincere believers. Now, this lesson is going to be based on these. It's going to be based on the Texas floods. So through the Spirit, I'm going to read this article, get some precepts, and Lord's will, you're edified. It says 11 girls from summer camp still missing as death toll rises. It says at least 67 people have died in connection with the flash floods that struck central Texas early Friday, according to officials in several counties. The toll includes at least 21 children in Kerr County, where a desperate search continues for 11 girls and one counselor still missing from Camp Mystic, authorities said this morning. The summer camp is located near the Guadalupe River, which surged over its banks during a torrential downpour. The National Weather Service issued a slew of warnings about flood danger ahead of the storm, but questions remain about how many people they reached and whether critical vacancies at the agency's forecast offices affected its response. Yeah, because Trump was, defunding, NOAA and FEMA and all these different weather services. So that means less employees, which means less people to be able to do the work in predicting events like flash floods and tornadoes. So even though they did send out warnings, maybe not a lot of people were able to receive the warning. But ultimately, as those of us of the hopeful elect know, this is the judgment of the Lord. And a lot of people, they get all up in their feelings because there are children involved. But like it says in Romans 2:11, that there is no respect of persons with Yahweh. So those children were not exempt from being judged. Isaiah 29:6, thou shalt be visited of the Lord Yahweh of hosts with thunder, and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire. Yeah, so these torrential rainstorms, these lightning storms, thunderstorms, hailstorms, tornadoes, hurricanes, tropical storms, these are all forms of the Lord visiting. So that flash flood that hit central Texas, that was judgment from the Lord. Isaiah 28:2, behold, the Lord hath a mighty and strong one, which has a tempest of hail and a destroying storm, as a flood of mighty waters overflowing shall cast down to the earth with the hand. And that's what Central Texas got hit with, a flood of mighty waters. And now 67 people are dead. And I'm sure that number will rise. But that's the judgment of the Lord right there. That's his wrath and his anger and his fury and his judgment. Deuteronomy 32:39. See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no power with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. And this is true based on the fact that even with ample warnings, people still get killed in the event of tornadoes and hurricanes and flash floods. Because those whom the Lord targets, they're going to receive that judgment. You can get all the warnings in the world that something's going to happen. But if the Lord wants you to be affected by that judgment, then you're going to be affected by it. If the Lord wants you to be wounded or killed in that judgment, then that's what's going to happen. Nobody can save you. And every wildfire that results in people's death, every flash flood, every tornado, every hailstorm, every hurricane, every tropical storm that results in people's death is just proof that you can have all these storm prediction centers and all of that, but ultimately everyone's life is in the hand of the Lord. And if he decides he wants to take yours, there's nothing anybody can do to save you. First Samuel 2:6, the Lord Yahweh killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. Yeah, so for all the people who have died out there in Central Texas as a result of the flash flood, the Heavenly Father is the one who killed them. He's the one who sent that flood. And like I said, there's a lot of people who are all emotional about it because there's children involved. But the thing about this truth is the fact that you have to remove your feelings and just accept the facts. Job 4:7, remember I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? And the answer is that no one has ever perished being innocent, nor were the righteous ever cut off. So, as unfortunate as it may be for those children who got caught up in the flood, they were not innocent in the eyes of the Lord. Because if they were innocent, the Lord would have kept them safe. Plain and simple. And a lot of people, they can't wrap their head around that. And that's how you know that the Lord is not dealing with most people. Because if the Lord was dealing with most people would have the understanding that regardless of man, woman, or child, if the Lord brings such a heavy judgment upon them, that's because they were not innocent. In the eyes of the Lord, they were wicked. And they, got judged for that. Verse 8, even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same. And in a nutshell, that's what's happening. And people will be like, well, how can a child have done anything wicked? Well, the Lord can also judge you for things that you've done in your past life. That's where reincarnation comes into play. The scriptures tell us that every third or fourth generation you come back. So all the people talking about you only live once, that's a lie. So those children that got killed, the Lord more than likely was punishing them for wickedness that they did in their past life, that he was judging them for early on in this life. And like I said, a lot of people, they're too emotional, they're too carnal to be able to understand that. But at the end of the day, wicked people, regardless of their age, regardless of their gender, regardless of where they're from or who their parents are, or who they themselves are, If you're wicked, you're going to get judged. Plain and simple. Ecclesiastes 3:1, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Verse 2, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. And for all those people in Central Texas who have died, the ones who have been found and the ones who still haven't been, it was their time to die according to the will of the Lord. And people will say that saying that is, cold that it's cold hearted and it's mean, but it's like, no, it's honest. It's just the truth. Like I said, the Lord is in control of life and death. And anybody that the Lord wants to remove from this earth, he's going to remove, and there's nothing anybody can do to stop it. And people will be like, well, what if it was your loved one that died? I have plenty of loved ones that have died. And I understand that, hey, it was their time to go according to the will of the Lord. You can't get all emotional about it. It just is what it is. This is the way the Lord moves. There's nothing anybody can do about it. I'm not saying that you can't be sad if you lose your loved one. But you can be sad, but it's like, you got to accept the fact that this is what the Lord wanted. Luke 21:22. Salakia, for these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. And that's why there's so many earthquakes and wildfires and storms and tempests. Because these are just some of the ways in which the Lord is bringing judgment, bringing his vengeance upon the earth and upon these wicked people. The wicked men, the wicked women, and the wicked children. Luke 21:36, watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. And that's what those of us of the hopeful elect are doing. We're watching. We're seeing everything that's going on. And we're praying and hoping that we are accounted worthy to escape these things. The fires, the storms, the tempests, the earthquakes, the famines, the pestilences, the upcoming race wars and civil wars, the ultimate nuclear destruction of America. Meanwhile, you have all of these wicked people who, they want to, they want to make America great again. They want to try to save this place. They want to build here. Like the Lord, he's going to destroy this place. And he's going to destroy everybody who wants to uphold this place. That's why there's just more and more judgment being brought upon America. Like this wicked kingdom can't catch a break. No, and it doesn't deserve to. And neither do these wicked people. Like it says in Isaiah 48:22, there is no peace, saith the Lord Yahweh unto the wicked. So the Lord is going to keep bringing these judgments, and there's going to be more destruction, and there's going to be more death, and there's going to be more mourning and weeping. And that's just what it's going to be. These last days are not going to be fun. It's going to be full of heavy judgment. And this is what the men of the Lord are constantly talking about, but nobody wants to listen. Like it says in Proverbs 22:3, a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. And all these people that want to run around and participate in folly and act like, judgments aren't happening because maybe wherever they are, they're not being personally affected by it. So they want to act like it's not that serious. Those people are going to get caught off guard when the judgment does eventually reach them because they were not paying attention. They were not being circumspect. And it's hard to feel bad for people when they get judged. But it's like, first of all, you're out here being wicked. You're out here not paying attention. So when that judgment does catch up to you, there's nobody to blame for that but yourself. Because at the end of the day, everybody has to reap what they've sown. If you're out here being wicked and, being a demon, you're going to get destroyed. And if you're out here being righteous in the eyes of the Lord, then Adawan Ratazah, which means the Lord's will, you'll get saved. But also, like it says in 2 Timothy 3:1, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. Times full of danger and risk. And clearly, we are in some dangerous times. And that's not something to joke about. That's not something to take lightly. And majority of people joke about it and take it lightly until they're personally being affected by it. And then they want everybody to feel bad for them. But it's like, no. If you were taking this way more seriously beforehand, maybe things would have turned out differently, depending on if the Heavenly Father wanted things to turn out differently. But myself and other brothers have been saying that this summer was going to be full of a lot of judgments, a lot of shootings, a lot of stabbings, a lot of flash floods, tornadoes, hurricanes, tropical storms, wildfires, just a lot of judgment. And that's what we're seeing. That's exactly what's playing out. But people will still tell us that we're wrong. They'll tell us that we're fear-mongering. Even though, these people, they'll say that, the Bible is a fairy tale book, even though the very things written in this book that are said to come to pass are happening. And that's why you can't feel bad for these people when they receive judgment, because they thought it was all fun and games. They were out here scoffing and scorning and mocking the men of the Lord. And the Lord is not okay with that. And you will get judged accordingly. And that's exactly what we see playing out. All of this destruction, all of this chaos, all of this death, all of this sadness, all of the mourning and the weeping that's going on. That's the judgment of the Lord upon these wicked ass people. And it's just going to get worse. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. Closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Rakakwadash, the Wadi Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, for putting his spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Honors toward our brothers who are fervently pushing the word in sincerity and in faith. And shalom toward the sincere believers. Hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up, and Ottawa and Ratazah. Until next time, Shalom.